remove Dr. Dre from the equation, things are vastly different. If we
Yeah,
remove Jay-Z from the equation, things are vastly different. And I will say this, even if we
when you
remove Puffy from the equation, things are different.
when you say if we remove Jay from the equation, things are different. Please explain to me how. Because
Well,
when you're saying no, because when you're saying you remove Dr. Dre from the conversation, and this might be the biggest mark of his influence, if you were to remove Dr. Dre from the conversation, that's about 7 or 8 of the 50 greatest rap albums of all time that no longer exist.
we
That
remove Jay.
is
If we remove Jay-Z, there's no Rockefeller Records.
okay.
I
Mike,
don't think
Mike,
I
Mike,
don't think somebody like
like
Kanye
how many
West.
classic albums did Rockefeller produce in its
I was
time?
about
That's
to
what I'm
go into
saying.
that.
You're not missing it like you think you're missing it, because outside of missing Siegel, you're
We're
not
gonna
gonna miss Rockefeller.
you're gonna miss Kanye West. I don't think Kanye West happens without Rockefeller.
I do.
I don't.
I do.
I
Mike,
don't.
he made the album by his damn self anyway when
But
they
no
weren't.
one was gonna put it out. Nobody
Mike, he
was trying to.
started.
Nobody was trying to sign Kanye as is, and
Mike,
Kanye snuck in the game because they needed his beats, and they were
Mike,
allowing him to be him. I don't
Mike.
think you would have gotten a college dropout. I mean,
He
he
was.
was telling everybody that
Mike, he
they
wasn't
were
signed to
passing up
Rockefeller.
on these
Mike, first of
records.
all, Mike, he wasn't even signed to Rockefeller when he was making the college
I
dropout.
understand what you're saying.
He was getting placements and was going to get placed.
I
And was
understand what you're
now,
saying.
Mike, he was
That record wouldn't have came
Mike,
out.
Mike, he was making that album, and somebody was going to pick it up and take it very far. It's just that he
They
wanted
weren't.
to be with Jay.
They weren't. Kanye would tell you they weren't. The only
Mike,
person that was rocking with him was what's his name?
his greatness, it was going to happen.
Nah, man. Those at the top. Let's take ourselves.
I'm not giving Jay no
Cool.
credit.
Let's take ourselves back in time, right?
Kanye made Kanye's career happen. They did not help that nigga.
No, they might not have helped him make anything.
And
but
when you make something like that, Mike, just like when you make something like Reasonable Doubt and Def Jam came along, somebody gonna come along.
this different though. Cool.
No,
What I'm saying.
We're talking about a classic rap album. I know
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Kanye was able to use the credibility and the momentum that Rockefeller had at the time. Just like how I feel about Eminem. There's nobody else that he would have been able to. No. There's nobody else he could have signed to other than Dre at the time. And that's not a knock on him or his skill set. There was just no match. So you telling me that Eminem would have been able to go somewhere else and do what he did without Dre?
Not to the level that he did.
Exactly.
But Eminem ain't the tour de force that Kanye is. Period.
Spiff Spark says what I'm saying. He said, not without Rockefeller's cosign. Let's go back. Let's go back to 2000. No, let's go back to 2001 and 2002.
Mike, if you would have heard the college dropout and it didn't come out on Rocafella Records, the results.
But I wouldn't have heard it. I wouldn't. That's the point.
I'm trying to tell you, Mike. Yes, you would have.
I wouldn't have. That shit. Exactly what King of Sin said. Kanye would have been on Rockus Records. And I agree with that 100%. Kanye would have got signed to Rockus, and we would have heard that shit like we heard a Reflection Eternal. No disrespect, but it wouldn't have been to the level that we ended up hearing it.
Mike, real talk. When Through the Wire came out, you didn't even know if he was really signed to Rockefeller like that. Stop playing.
He did know.
Not like that. Not until you seen it. That's what I'm saying, Mike. He made that whole album without their help. That project was about to drop. It was about to be great. They knew it was great, which is why they picked it up.
I feel you know what? No, I disagree with that statement.
That album was like, I don't believe he made this shit by himself. We got to get him before somebody else gets him.
I disagree with that. They signed him to keep getting
somebody
his
else major was going to pick him up and take him very, very far. I don't agree with any of y'all. That's crazy.
No, I think that they
fucking with the album, Mike. Y'all sound crazy. Y'all understand they wasn't fucking with the album till the album was done. He did it by himself.
He did it by himself. He had had the album done, and that's the other reason why I don't agree either. Because cool. You could tell that the College Dropout had been done for years. A lot of those songs sound older. He had the access to shop those records. He even says on the album that people weren't fucking with Jesus Walks. He sat there and played Jesus Walks for these executives in 2002. And you have to think about where hip hop was in 2002. He didn't have the image. You know what I'm saying? He didn't He didn't have any street credibility. Every rapper that came out in that era had some level of credibility on a mainstream level like that. He changed the game, and the only people that were going to rock with him was Rocafella because they wanted his beats. And it wasn't even because, they believed in the music like that. They was like, well, shoot, if we give him a record deal, let him put out his stuff, we could keep getting his beats. He's even said this. So I don't think that there is a Kanye without Rocafella Records being what it was. I don't. That's hard because nobody else is gonna put this stuff out. I think maybe Rockus would have put it out, but how many albums would that have lasted for though? Oh, Coop just timed out on me. They said chill, Mike. You good? Your joint died out?
No, my laptop died arguing with y'all fools about this. All right?
I think this is a great conversation, though.
Y'all wild, man. Because now y'all discrediting Ye and what Ye's
No. Never that. I'm discrediting the game.
Discrediting the industry?
Yes.
Is that what you're doing? Yeah. Making it seem like you're doing that. That's really not what you're doing.
No. It's the
making
industry.
it seem like Ye shit ain't gonna pop without Roc-A-Fella. That's what you're saying at the bottom line. You're saying Ye shit wasn't gonna pop without Roc-A-Fella.
I think during that time period.
Understand what that sounds like out loud when you say it. And
No. We have to understand what phases of the game we're in, right? Like once upon a time, I was in a rap group, right, and we had like a different kind of sound than what was going on in the city of Atlanta. Nobody was rocking with it, but if it were '94, they may have been. You know what I'm saying? Like. Things were different. And during that time period where Kanye came out, everything was about something else. He was drastically different than what was going on the mainstream level in hip hop. And he was able to attach himself to Rocafella Records, who were doing what other people were doing, and use that as a vehicle to push his stuff forward. That's all I'm saying. I think if Kanye was doing the College Dropout in '96, yeah, somebody would have signed him. Yes. But in 2002, no. I just don't. And that's all I'm saying. And that's not a knock to Kanye. It's just a timing thing.
I'm not going to keep arguing with y'all about this shit.
Well, I think that's a good place
I just don't agree. I just don't agree. I just fundamentally don't agree with that because for what I heard you say really when you're saying that is that, well, if Kanye is as influential as you say, and if he's great as you say, and as I say, and most definitely as he say, then he's going to make it regardless, Mike. And so I'm not going to give Roc-A-Fella credit for somebody like that. Like, I don't give Puff no credit for Big. Big was going to get on.
I got to give Puff some credit for Big. And I'm going to have to disagree with you on the future.
I give him credit for making him as big as he became, but he was going to get on.
Big was super talented. He was going to get on, but I don't think...
Kind of like Kanye super talented?
No, of course. All of these guys are super talented.
So niggas but like I
don't think Biggie makes Juicy or One More Chance without Puff. I don't.
Oh, Biggie will tell you he's not making One More Chance.
Yeah. You froze up, Coop.
Get on. Okay. And that's really what I'm trying to stress. I'm not saying Roc-A-Fella is not important. What I'm saying is you ain't going to miss them like you think. You might miss Siegel because Siegel might still be out in the streets, but Ye's still going to make it. And those were the two biggest Roc-A-Fella signings, right?
I think Ye makes it as a producer, maybe not as much as an artist. Without Rocafella Records, he used a lot of that Rocafella momentum. And again, I do agree with what someone said in the chat.
They used a lot of his beats.
That's of course they did. I'm not taking it. Listen, if we want to keep it all the way 100, I don't want to sound like I'm discrediting anything that Kanye's ever done because I think that Kanye is probably more influential than Jay is. Right? I think over time,
Got me sticking up for Yeezy today.
I think over time, Kanye's impact maybe greater than Jay's. I think Kanye is a first ballot rock and roll Hall of Fame. Straight up.
No question.
No question. And that's going to happen too. When this time is,
that's happening.
Yeah.
That's happening.
When the time is there. So that's happening. I think he's probably overall more important in the cultural shift in hip hop than Jay is. I think he's overall better artist. I think he's probably the best artist that we've ever had. But he's so polarizing. I don't think anybody else was going to sign him outside of a Rocafella Records. He was the one that was saying, look, he put Freeway on songs with Mos Def. You know, you call him Kweli Aqueli. I put him on songs with Jay-Z. He couldn't do that if he wasn't on Rocafella. And that's just the truth. And that was a big part of his first, splash and what made him so different when he came in the door. And he had the power to do that. He had the power to bridge those gaps because of Rocafella.
Mike, the only power of Rocafella that I really hear on his first album is the Jay verse from Never Let Me Down. Because
is that all you hear? Is that all you hear?
As far as a Rocafella influence, because it's like, okay, Jay actually gave him a whole verse, and it's a great verse on a great song. The rest of that album is on some rap shit for Mos Def and Common and guys like that. Anyway, it was still about the fly.
But it got the Rocafella push in ways that, like you remember back then, those guys didn't get those kind of pushes. He got the Def Jam push.
Mike, but here's what I'm trying to stress to you. Rocafella pushed it because there was no denying the records.
TJ says...
Mike, anybody with major push and pull in the game at that point in time, had they sat down and heard those records, would have done the same exact thing for Kanye that Rocafella did. Rocafella heard it first and did the right thing.
You would be surprised.
You don't get credit for doing what you're supposed to do. That's the college dropout. Whoopty fucking whoop. You recognize that the college dropout was a classic and did some push. You can put some proper push behind it. Thanks for doing your motherfucking job. That's about it.
Nobody else was gonna do it. TJ says Kanye helped Jay more than Jay helped Kanye.
Got that right. I agree with that. I'd like to thank Rocafella for doing their job after Kanye finished the album.
I agree with that. But at the same time, I think Rocafella set the foundation for Ye, or set the platform for Ye to do what he knew he could do. And once he did it, he took off.
Mike, they did their job, and they only did their job for one album, because everything after that, Ye pretty much put on his hands and took off anyway, even if their imprint was on it.
They did their job so they could get more beats from him.
Everybody else would have done the same thing. It's not that special.
Everybody in here is kind of all over the place. A lot of people agree with you, and a lot of people agree with me.
Because it's the college dropout, Mike, and they didn't have anything to do with it except pushing it, and they pushed it the way any other solvent and financially viable label with a decent hip-hop ear would have heard that album and pushed it.
I hear what you're saying.
Mike,
but from Kanye's mouth, you heard the album, right? You've heard the college dropout.
Mike, what they have to do? Mike, what did they have to do with Slow Jams or All Falls Down or Jesus Walks or Get 'Em High? Those don't sound like Rocafella songs now, do they?
We still got to put money behind it. It is what it is.
Right. And what I'm trying to tell you is that when you hear records like that over the course of an album and you realize that the record's going to be classic, it's like, oh, Puff would have put money behind it. Russell would have put money behind it.
They heard this stuff.
Jay Prince, it was just going to be a matter of time.
They heard this stuff.
They were just there first. I'd like to thank you for coming to class and raising your hand when the right questions get asked.
Where I do disagree with you, so you're telling me you feel like if Jay Prince would have signed Kanye West and put out the college dropout, it would have did exactly what it did on Rocafella?
Mike, those records are organically great and epic. Period.
So him being with Rocafella in the midst of their biggest run had nothing to do with the success of that album.
Mike, does it sound like some Rocafella shit?
It doesn't matter whether it sounds like it.
Yeah, it
that
does.
Company, it's the momentum.
Because you're attributing what was going on with Ye to their run. And what I'm trying to tell you is that, no, he's the one that added to and enhanced their run, not the other way around with that album. It's the best album ever released on Rocafella, not named The Blueprint.
Look, Southern Playalistic doesn't sound anything like Crazy Sexy Cool or anything like that. But that album's success helped the success of that album. with it being on LaFace Records. It just does. Same thing with Soul Food and Southern Playlistic. Even though I think that's a better comparison. Soul Food sounds nothing like Southern Playlistic. But the fact that Southern Playlistic was there to catapult it helped.
So what album came out before The College Dropout off Rocafella Records that helped catapult The College Dropout?
The Blueprint.
Right.
He made a name for himself by his work on the Blueprint. And I know, just for me personally, as a fan. No. Just for me personally, as a fan.
You're telling me somebody that. Hold on. So you're telling me. So I want you to understand how you and the people agreeing with you sound, because this is the point that I'm making. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
So you're telling me the person that had a hand in executive producing a masterpiece of an album called The Blueprint that is then making a masterpiece of an album called The College Dropout isn't about to get some run if it's not from Roc-A-Fella? That's why I kept bringing up, no, he was getting placements. That was happening regardless.
He was getting placements.
Happening regardless.
But at that time...
Their job, Mike. They just did their job.
At that time, we weren't sold on him.
You wake up, you go to work. Your job as a music executive and the boss is to vet new artists. This new artist has been doing production for you, makes an album called The College Dropout. It's very clear that this album is a classic. You decide to support the push the album. That's called doing your job.
So why didn't anybody else sign him when they heard Jesus Walk?
It was going to happen, Mike.
It was going to happen. According to Kanye, it wasn't. He had deals on the table, and they were gone.
Mike, so we're gonna trust everything that Kanye says now. Okay, that's what we're doing.
Well,
that's what we're doing.
So you don't believe what he said at the end of...
You don't hear me using no Kanye quotes. All right?
So you don't believe what he said at the end of Last Call on The College Dropout? You think he just made all that up?
I mean, Mike, you don't think Ye embellishes?
So you think he embellished the fact that nobody was trying to sign him?
Right. Yes, I do. Because part of his image and his legacy, he helped craft that by crafting the narrative of it, and that's part of it. Yes.
So I mean, we've all, especially. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
Crafting the underdog narrative. Oh no, nobody want to fuck with me. No. You just got done helping produce the Blueprint.
I'm glad you said that. Cool.
And about to come fuck with you.
Cool. I'm glad you said that, because over time we've seen the guys who've been the big free agents, the 50 Cents with the bidding wars, the Drakes with their bidding wars. Kanye West already had his name in the game as a producer, and we didn't hear any bidding wars for him as an artist.
Because they wanted him as a producer, and he kept trying to tell them he was an artist, so he made a product and a project.
And that's exactly why nobody was signing him. You're making his point. Because people saw him as a producer and not as an artist.
But Mike, we don't know if that moment would have ever happened, because when Roc-A-Fella heard it, because they had access to it first, what did they do? Anybody else in their position would have done the same exact thing had they heard the record.
So you feel like they signed him right away?
I feel like they signed him after they started. I feel like probably about 10 to 12 tracks on the album was done. They was like, oh shit, yeah. That's exactly how I think it happened.
Man.
I feel like that album was about 70-75% in the can, and they listened to what they were hearing. They were like, we got to snatch this guy up for good before anybody else does.
That would be smart, but...
Right, and we're talking about Dame and Jay now, aren't we?
It sounds like Kanye was out here trying to get deals elsewhere, and nobody else was biting on it. And and this is the thing. In 2002, 2001, I could see, because he didn't look like a rapper. Let's just keep it real. Like, rappers had looks. He didn't look like a rapper. He didn't talk like a rapper, and especially a rapper in that camp. And so, yeah, I think it would have been a Rockus Records situation. I think that's the only label that would have taken a chance on Kanye at that time. There's no way of us knowing, but just based on the timing of it and being a music fan, who else out here was getting signed that had those type of Kanye sounds? Little Brother wasn't getting no deals from Epic Records and shit. They weren't.
Mike, he had just got done producing Izzo. He wasn't going to no damn Rockus. So sick of y'all saying that.
Split Spark says, Coop, nope. Kanye shopped that album to other labels. TJ says, Coop is right. He got a free reins to be creative because he is his genius. I hear what y'all saying. But
it's gonna happen. That's all I'm saying. Saying it was gonna happen.
All
I'm
right,
not trying
man.
to
Well,
discount Rocafella. I'm just saying they were there at the right place in the right time. They did what they were supposed to do. Once again, thank you for doing your job and putting Kanye West out. It's like, what are we talking about?
the
It's like,
world
thank you for
needed
putting
him.
Kanye West out. Okay.
The world
Like
needed him.
he just got done helping you produce one of the greatest rap albums of all time. He's out here making one of the greatest rap albums of all time. Like, you might want to do your job. I don't know, sign him to a deal.
Before we get out of here, though, I want to say, man, I've always thought this, but I was listening to 8Ball and MJG on Top of the World or whatnot, and I think, man, MJG might be the most underrated Southern MC ever, possibly the most underrated MC ever. He's up there.
You like MJG more than 8Ball?
I do.
Okay.
I think 8Ball's proven as an individual to be, that he can carry his own. Even though I bought No More Glory, but stuff like Mr. Biggs and all that's undeniable. But it's something about MJG, man. I've always liked, man, and I think that when we talk about Southern MCs, his name as an individual doesn't come up when you can hear his style all over Memphis MCs.
I was about to say he's Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's nice with it too. Like his storytelling game is on point.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
Like
MJG
MJG
storytelling game is hard.
Yeah. And I was thinking about our conversation, you know what I'm saying, a couple of weeks back when we were talking about UGK and 8Ball and MJG. I don't even know how I would place them if we talking about breaking down all four MCs. But you might be right, man. 8Ball and MJG might be the better duo, I guess.
MC-wise.
But see, I just like the production from UGK.
How about this?
And I like the approach of UGK.
I about to say Bun and Pimp are a better fit. 8Ball and MJG are the better MCs collectively, stylistically. Because if we were ranking them in order, I put Bun over all of them as MCs.
Would you?
Bun would be one.
And see, when I was listening to MJG, man, I'm like, you know what? I don't know, man. I might put MJG over Bun.
I can't do that. I can't do that in clear conscience.
I mean, I was listening to the song they did with Outkast, and I'm like, man, MJG could have the best verse.
What, Throw Your Hands?
Yeah.
No, he does have the best verse on Throw Your Hands. You're right.
I mean, Dre's verse is Dre. He lyrically took it there.
It's Dre in his prime, so he gives you what you expect. But MJG comes off best on that track.
Yeah.
You're right. But he's not better than Bun B as AMC.
Why would you say that? I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you because everybody in the chat seems to agree with you as well.
Similarities. I'm going to give Bun some points for vocals. Like vocally, I think he's better. And solo material.
Okay, solo material, that's fair.
Vocally and solo material, I find Bun to be better.
Let's just say it like this. If all four of those guys get on the record together, 8Ball, MJG, UGK, Pimp C, kind of like on some, was it Meal Ticket? All four of those guys get on the record together. Who comes out with the best verse?
Bun.
I don't know about that. I don't.
Look, okay, so here's the beautiful thing about UGK, though, and this is why stylistically they fit so well together. It's like, when you listen to Big Pimpin', Bun's got the best verse on Big Pimpin', but the moment belongs to Pimp. What's the part everybody remember? Smoking out, throwing up. Right.
Yeah, Pimp C could have the best verse in any given moment.
Right. Without being lyrical.
Without being lyrical.
Without being lyrical at all. Did you see when Bun was doing the interview where he told the story about how Pimp was out in the Miami sun? Because they were in Miami like for that part of the shoot, and he came out with the mink on. It was like 95 degrees outside. and Jay looked at Pimp and was like, yo, fam, like, what you doing? Like, it's hot outside. And he looked at Jay and said, TV don't know no temperature. Pimp C, nigga.
And on that note, I guess we can get up out of here, man. I don't know what's coming out this Friday, but I'm sure we'll find something to talk about, definitely. I would love to dig deeper into that Kanye discussion. That's really interesting.
Mike, get out my head. You know I'm about to start digging sometime tonight.
Because I want to find out, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get my facts and everything together outside of just, the verbiage you hear on Last Call. So,
yeah, the hearsay.
Yeah. Maybe we can get some... what was his name? Joey 3H, the one that was rocking with Kanye.
Actually, Mike. Oh shit! You want to know what? I know somebody that was interning at Rocafella around that time I can reach out to. He
Yeah,
was
reach
interning
out.
at Def Jam. No, I'm not at Rocafella. He was interning at Def Jam around that time.
Yeah,
I actually know
find out.
somebody. Yeah, he was a producer. He interned at Def Jam around that time. I'll hit him up and find out.
All right, cool,
See
man.
if you know something.
Well, we will see y'all on Friday as well. And you know what we can do too, and I know we were speaking about this earlier in
Matter
the
of
week.
fact, Mike, it's Holla's homeboy.
Okay.
Holla's homeboy, Dwayne. You know Dwayne?
I don't think I know Dwayne.
Dwayne from the 206-2, like Holla. I know Dwayne through Holla. Dwayne interned at Def Jam. Yeah, that's Holla's man.
We could probably start wrapping up this year and everything too, man. Let's start talking about that Friday.
Right.
Because I mean, we're at a point now where I mean, unless something major comes out this Friday, we need to start putting like, you know, some of the tops in this year in context. So
Okay.
all right, man. Salute to y'all in the room. Appreciate all y'all participation. And yeah, tell your friends to subscribe to the According to Hip Hop YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so y'all know when we're going live. We're going to go live Friday, around 3 or something like that?
Depends on how things go at the Braves parade, Mike. Parade starts
Oh,
at
yeah,
10.
the Braves. All right. Well,
Parade
yeah.
starts at 10.
We'll keep
Parade
y'all
starts at
posted.
10. Yeah, we'll keep you posted.
All right, definitely. Holla at you.